Balance changes. I want them, you want them, we all want them. And today I'm gonna tell you all of the balance changes I really enjoyed to see in the next patch notes. If you like, don't forget to subscribe and let's get right into them. First, we'll start with the heroes and then we'll continuously go through each set. And first we have Barbarian King. For Barbarian King, I want his first ability, which is absolutely useless, to be changed from this to heal every single ally for 10% HP with the super. So your super, besides giving 2 times damage for 6 seconds, it would also heal everyone for 10% of their HP, which would reinforce Barbarian King kinda supports vibe. His second ability needs a nerf. It's literally the only reason why he's broken. And I want its duration to be reduced from 4 seconds to 3 seconds and a half. And the final ability, I would like a rework actually. Instead of being this very weird concept of making BK a carry, it would instead be super. Now it's triple damage, but it only lasts for 3 seconds. So if you chose this ability, you'd need to kinda take a bit of a risk. You can either have massive damage, but it would last half of the time. Up to you to decide. Next we have Countess, and I just want to see the rogue synergy bug being fixed. In case you did not notice, sometimes when the rogues deal that bonus damage, they do not give you energy if they're attacking melee troops that have a super. And that is just so broken, just patch that. And trust me, that is already a really big nerf. Jesus Christ. Next we have Wave Master. What did they do to you? You're just way too strong. Don't. So his attack speed would be reduced from 1.2 to 1, yes, and his promotion, now instead of giving him plus 1 damage, you would give to him plus 0.3 attack speed. And that would mean that his super, when you promote Wave Master, it would still deal 6 damage, always 6 damage with the super. And his Death Slap, or the trident thingy, it would only deal 8 damage, and I feel like that is already a really big nerf to Wave Master. Next we have Skeleton King, and no, I'm not gonna nerf his second ability. Instead, what I will do is, his HP will be reduced from 60 to 58, and his HP with the promotion, it will be reduced from 65 to 60, so he only gains 12 HP with the promotion. His super stun duration will be reduced from 2 seconds to 1 second, but his third ability, now it will add to the super, besides the 8 damage, it will also add 1 second stun duration. And on top of that, I want the freaking Skeleton Warriors to have 15 HP instead of 12, because Skeleton Warriors are just not good at all. Next we have Natureborn, and just please, I have been asking this for I think a year right now. I want her first and second ability to not be to overhealed allies. It would just be healed allies gain that buff, but the 2 times damage buff, it would be reduced from 6 seconds to 3 seconds, because otherwise it would be really broken, the first ability. Next we have Monk, my boy. His super will now also stun the opponent for 4 seconds. And his first promotion, now it will also make Monk unstoppable for 5 seconds. And I did not forget his third ability, which absolutely sucks in most scenarios. His energy cost with the third ability will be reduced from 10 to 8. So his third ability is just straight up super gains Pierce. That simple. Because honestly, either using the first or the third ability feels more like a disadvantage for not using the second ability. Those abilities really needed a buff. Next we have Grandor, and I just want a simple rework his first ability. Because the Make Synergy now gets 1 energy after casting abilities when you have 4 wizards, the first ability just became way too cancer. So I want his first ability, instead of giving Rage, it would actually only give Unstoppable. So what is the biggest counter to wizards? It's just stuns. So this ability, instead of making wizards absolutely annoying, it would instead make them immune to stuns. And I think that this is actually a good idea. Next we have Pink Fury, and I want to start off, I want her super to apply slow for 3 seconds. I want her first ability, bonus attack speed reduced from 8% to 6%, only the attack speed. And for last, the third ability, like who even uses this? I want, instead of the super gaining cleave, for the super to hit surrounding troops. So it'd be like a Valkyrie mega super attack that would deal just AoE damage all around Pink Fury, killing everything. It would just make it a lot better for Pink Fury, and without making any of the other abilities way too useless. And finally we have Battle Machine. I did not forget about you, pal. Your attack speed will be reduced from 1.2 to 1, and his promotion, instead of giving +1 damage, it would only give +0.3 attack speed. So when you upgrade him, he actually has more attack speed, but it would not make his first ability absolutely busted. So with the first ability, instead of dealing 10 damage for each attack, you would only deal 8, which feels a bit more balanced to me. Now let's get into the minis. I am tired of seeing Barbarian in the bottom, so I just want straight up his damage to be increased from 2 to 3. Yes, he would probably be broken, but guess what? When was the last time Barbarian was even viable? Even with the latest buff, he's still just not usable. So the damage buff seems pretty fair to me. For the Spirit Goblin, I want his clash damage to be increased from 10 to 12, his first ability bonus damage will be increased from 10 to 12, and his third ability, instead of just being plus attack speed, it would make his clash now deal burning and anti-heal for 6 seconds. So in total, a 3-star Spirit Goblin, it would deal his clash 30 damage. And the anti-heal for 6 seconds to not immediately heal it. I feel like he just absolutely needs these buffs. The Guard. His base shield will be increased from 10 to 12, and his first ability, instead of being just bonus shield, no, his clash would now apply to adjacent allies as well. Attention, the second ability and third ability do not apply to the adjacent allies. So in total, instead of having 45 shield on the field, with this rework he would put 60 shield on the field, which I feel like it's a pretty good buff. Dagger Thrower. I want his damage to be increased from 2 to 3, because what is the point in dealing 2 times damage if you don't even deal damage? Like, come on. Ending set 1, we have Mini P.E.K.K.A, and I want her second ability to be changed from that piece of garbage, which never happens even, to +2 damage against injured minis. I just feel like this is perfect for Mini P.E.K.K.A. She's supposed to be a damage dealer but slightly weaker, and this just calls Mini P.E.K.K.A in my opinion. Knight. Please fix his bug, for Christ's sake. But I already know that when the bug gets fixed, the Knight will just be absolute trash because he no longer can taunt the backline. So his first ability, instead of giving 5 shield, it would give 6 shield, and his second ability, instead of being +2 seconds of taunt, it would be +3 seconds of taunt. On top of that, his HP would be increased from 25 to 28, and the HP per upgrade would be increased from 10 to 12. Because the Knight is kinda relying on his HP to be a tank, and he doesn't have that much, and with the reduction in the taunt, I feel like he needs it. Royal Recruit. I just want his second ability to actually apply to the 2 nearest allies and not to adjacent allies. Just that simple fix. For Battle Healer, I want her HP to be increased from 25 to 28, and HP per upgrade to be increased from +12 to +14. In my opinion, she just dies way too quickly, even though she's a healer. On top of that, her second ability, instead of just being +1 energy, which it's not that big of a deal anymore, it would be the super also gives block to allies for 2 seconds, kinda how her OG second ability used to be. Golden Giant, I had enough of you being absolutely trash. Your attack speed will be increased from 0.3 to 0.4, and his attack speed per upgrade it will be increased from 0.05 to 0.1. Because what is the point in dealing 3 damage for each attack if you don't even have attack speed at all? His third ability will now also give block to the Golden Giant, which it was the reason why he used to be broken back then, but we are no longer in the back then, he needs this buff. And on top of that, his second ability will be completely reworked. After using the super, you get unstoppable for half a second. What would this mean? Whenever you used your super, if you had the first ability as well, you would get the heal, but you would not get yourself stunned. And that would be a game changing. Of course, you would still be stunned by enemy stuns like Royal Champion Shields or Wave Masters, but not by your super. And that would change everything about Golden Giant, especially with the attack speed buff. Swordsman. Her super, each of the fish slaps besides dealing 4 damage, it would now also stun for half a second. Back in the day, she used to have an ability where each fish slap would stun for 1.5 seconds, which was really good to interrupt mini attacks and supers, and now she no longer has it, and I just feel like that was one of the reasons why her super was so oppressive, and now it no longer is. Yeah, 3-star Swordsman can be really good, but you just need the 3 stars. With this, you would only read 1 or 0 stars. The Giant. I want your base HP to be increased from 30 to 35 because it is very embarrassing for the Golden Giant to have more HP than you, and your HP per upgrade would be increased from 20 to 25. Because we no longer can kinda rely on your passive to get more HP, the upgrade should actually give a lot of HP to compensate that, because the Giant is just kinda useless. I only see him in Grand World and Dex. Mega Knight. I want your super to now deal 6 damage instead of 2. And on top of that, your HP per upgrade will be increased from 20 to 22, just to make you a tiny bit more tanky and more deadly. Dark Prince. I thought a lot about you, and I think I have a very simple way of nerfing you, and without even reworking anything at all actually. I want your attack speed per upgrade to be reduced from 0.15 to 0.05. So now the double damage would not be that significant. The AoE stun would not be that significant because you would not stun that easily. The attack speed buff could kinda counter that in a certain way, but neither one of his abilities would be as annoying. Sailor! Die. Your energy cost will be increased from 2 to 3, your super damage in order to compensate that would be increased from 4 to 6, but your first ability would now only be +1 damage, and your attack speed per upgrade would be reduced from 0.15 to 0.1. And again, to compensate the energy cost increase, your slow, with the third ability, would be increased from 2 seconds to 3 seconds. I am tired of seeing Sailor everywhere, and the nerf to the first ability especially, I really hope that does the deal. Princess. This might be a bit controversial, but I feel like she's just way too versatile. I want her initial energy to be decreased from 2 to 1, and the super animation to be slightly slower. Or maybe the travel time of the arrows could be slightly longer as well. I don't really know, but something needs to be just toned out a little bit in the Princess. Inferno Warden. I want her second ability, instead of being bonus damage again, to be when casting super, you're unstoppable. Because stuns really count her a lot. And with this change for a 5 elixir upgrade, I feel like it's very fair, and also it combined to the first ability, it would be really good. Headhunter. I want his card damage to be increased from 6 to 7, but a really big but, I want his bonus damage multiplier against heroes to be reduced from 4 times damage to 3 times damage. So he would be better against minis, but slightly worse against heroes. Apprentice Monk. I don't know if it's just me, but he feels pretty darn useless. I want his HP to increase from 18 to 24 because he just dies way too quickly, and I also want his first ability, instead of being +3 seconds of duration, it would be +5 seconds of duration, because he is only usable against clash units. Other than that, he does not interrupt supers for that long, or even KOs for example. It just feels a bit lacking unless you have the second ability, and even with that, it does not feel that good. So I hope that with this buff, the Sailor will become a lot more versatile. And there you have it, all of the buffs, nerfs, rewards that I really appreciate to see in the next patch notes. What do you think, and do you have any other idea that you'd really like to see? Write in the comments down below, trust me, I will read them. And I'll see you on the next video.